But wanted to start right on time. Not congressional time, which is always 20 minutes late. Or completely missed. So thank you for being here. I think this is going to be a lively discussion. This is the first time I've done a town hall meeting at the Benson Pavilion. Usually we use the PBA down on Maple, but they were busy and this is the only day we could do it. So luckily the city of Omaha came through. We always use the Fontenelle one, but never the Benson one. And some of you may know I grew up right just a couple miles that way up the hill, and Dad came down the hill today to be here. Living in the same house that we moved into in 1967. Was it 67 or 68? 66. Okay. Look, I was 5. And
yeah, we understand you guys aren't good with figures.
That's one of those truisms in life. But I want to just go through very quickly, and do you mind if I set this down in front of you? You won't drink it.
Better take it, at least you get something back.
Yeah, good point. I want to just go through very quickly kind of a year in review and a prognosis for this year in Congress, and then just open it up to your thoughts, questions, criticism, whatever you feel like. I got a feeling I'm going to get all of that. Now, of course, we started in January, right after the elections. Different dynamic, even though Congress had been held for 2 years, had been Democratic. There were now super majorities in a White House, so a little bit different than what we've had in the past. And right away, the major concern with the American people was the economy. We had been pulled back from the abyss, supposedly, and I really do think there was a real crisis at one point in time in September and October, but the people were very concerned. We had just had a couple, 3 months of job losses of over 700,000 a month. It was becoming apparent that we were getting into a deep recession that particularly hit our manufacturing, production, and people wanted us to focus on the economy. First thing out of the chute that we do is a stimulus package of $800 billion that was written before the president was even sworn in. Remember, the goal was to have it on his desk the day he was sworn in. So that could be his first official act, would be signing the stimulus bill. They missed the mark by a couple of weeks. In fact, we just celebrated, if you call it that, the 1-year anniversary of the stimulus package. And if you break down the stimulus package, this is my opinion, and I'm going to share my opinions because I think it's important that you understand or that I give you the information so you can see why I voted for or against something. When I looked at the stimulus package that came out of Speaker Pelosi's office into the House floor, when you looked at it, well, about 60% of what was in there was government programs. Not going to be little government programs, but when it is called a stimulus bill, and the point was to stimulate the economy and create jobs in the economy, growing government programs isn't what I expected. In fact, there were a couple parts in there that I kind of liked, and that was infrastructure. Coming from city government, city council, I understand the importance of infrastructure, and frankly, that's one of the areas that we could probably come within 99% agreement that could be a government role, as streets, bridges, and things like that. That was about $50 billion of the $800 billion.
Yeah, only $1 and $13 of that stimulus went to infrastructure.
Yeah, even though that when we heard about it on the House floor, it was advertised in the debate as a infrastructure bill, but it was a very small percentage. I would think stimulus, knowing rudimentary economics that I learned at Northwest and Lincoln, was that traditionally small business is the one that creates the jobs as you come out of a recession. So if your objective is job creation in the private sector, you have to look at how you help small businesses survive and then get to the point where they're adding employees or prevent layoffs within small business. About $2 billion of the 800 actually directly was supposed to go for small businesses. And that was through the SBA. They increased the loan guarantee from 80% to 90%. They waived fees. They put more money out there for loans. And what we've learned is, even though that has helped some, the loans come through banks. It's not directly from the Treasury. It's just a guarantee. But what happened then is the bank regulators came in and said basically small businesses are bad loans, so therefore our banks didn't loan. And so it really was ineffectual the way that it was done that way, but something I would have supported if it was standalone. The problem is that was 1/2 of 1% of the overall package. And we can have a debate in here about the effectiveness of the stimulus package, but I predicted that on balance it was going to do more harm than good. I'm not sure we're seeing the harm yet, but I don't think we've seen the good either from it, which I think
We are seeing the harm. They put us even deeper into debt.
well, that's just it. And we're going to start seeing it because you can't put $800 billion on the national debt and print that money without there being some impact. And every economist will tell you the traditional impacts of doing that is higher interest rates and inflation. And by the way, we're starting to see the inflation pressures now. We actually went through a period of deflation, and now we're starting to see the inflation, which is, I think, caused by the influx of the dollars. You have the Treasury put in an extra $1 trillion that they had control, or not the Treasury, but the Fed. And so we went directly from, thank you. We went straight from stimulus into some of the regular business of Congress that was suspended in 2008 for the elections, which is the appropriation bills. So we went into the appropriation bills for 2010, even though we were 5 months or 4 months into the 2010 fiscal cycle. Those were passed. They all had about a 10% increase, general spending across the board. Then we went into the budget, and the budget was a great document showing the way and the priorities of this Congress over the next 5 to 10 years, and including eliminating all of the tax breaks that were voted in 2001 and 2003, with some additional others that assumed a cap and trade program and assumed a health care program. Ironically, I point this out, that the revenue from cap and trade assumed in the budget that was passed in March or April of last year happened to be the same number as the down payment on health care. So the two are related, at least fiscally. So then, as we go through these cats and dogs and others, then we get to, in the House of Representatives, cap and trade.